Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lucore Automotive on a gorgeous spring day here in Central Ohio, and I get to do something awesome today. I get to drive this fantastic 2015 Chevy SS 6-speed over to CIA Performance to get tuned. Well, for those of you who don't know much about this car, let me give you a short little primer. The Chevy SS is a car that doesn't make any sense. It did not need to be produced. It did not sell well. It was not marketed well. But it's amazing and it's awesome and it's truly the end of an era. The Chevy SS was a Holden, and it is essentially a four-door Corvette that doesn't shout, "Hey, look at me." For the most part, most people could see this car and think it's just one of those other drab GM sedans, like a Malibu or an Impala. There's nothing about it that shouts, "I'm fast, I'm fun." It's very understated. Those of you who know your modern performance vehicles would know that this is also essentially what you would have found in the G8 GXP. Unlike the Pontiac G8, which only came in automatic, the GXP did come in a manual transmission. Now, the great thing with the SS is they didn't have that worry about it, and some of them did truly come in a six-speed manual. So there are 3 pedals. It makes all kinds of good noises, and it's fantastic. So I'm gonna get this thing warmed up, and then I'm gonna get in this thing and enjoy my wonderful drive over to CIA Performance, where we're gonna see Eric and the guys over there and get this thing tuned. Just a couple of small little adjustments that need to be made. This is essentially a bone stock car. We just wanna make a little adjustment in the tune. So, time to start this thing up. As I said, this car is largely stock. There is a little bit of exhaust work that's been done and a ram air intake that's underneath the hood, but it's generally speaking 100% stock. The other nice thing on this car is it's really, really low mileage. So of a 2015, especially in this blue and the 6-speed, this is a super rare car, so it doesn't really need to have a whole lot of modification done to it. But we might do some modification in the future anyway. So as a gearhead, we all have wants and needs, right? We all have things that we own, but we want something else. Even if you don't necessarily need that other thing. This car, specifically this car, is really high on my list of wants, but have absolutely no need for. Underneath the hood of this thing is the 6.2 liter Corvette V8. Behind it is a 6-speed manual transmission. There is no displacement on demand on this. It's all V8 all the time. So whenever you stomp down on the loud pedal, it gets loud and crackly like it's supposed to. I am a single guy with no kids. I have no need to own a sedan. But I love this car. So a very valid question with this car is, what's so special about it? You can find anywhere online that will give you some of the story of the Pontiac G8, G8 GXP, and the Chevy SS. All essentially more or less the same vehicle. None of which made any sense. In an American economy where sedans are disappearing extremely fast, people prefer to have crossovers and small utility vehicles, whether or not you actually need any kind of utility. These things just didn't make any sense. They were in the high 40s to low 50s brand new, which is a good chunk of money. And they just didn't have the functionality of an SUV or a truck. So GM had an agreement with Holden of Australia to import a certain number of these vehicles, and so they had to make them. Now this particular vehicle is wearing all of the Holden badges. The owner of this vehicle has also done some interesting trickery on this and put on the shadow spec trim pieces, which is something that, had the SS continued, was going to be a feature or an option package on these SS's. However, since it disappeared, it never happened. But the interesting thing is, all of these bits and pieces were already produced and sitting in a warehouse. So Mike, who owns this vehicle, also owns the Pontiac Star Chief that you've seen previously on our channel, purchased all of the trim pieces and had the switcheroo done. So it is now wearing a black chrome trim package, which is going to be very, very unique for this car, making it even more interesting and unique, despite the fact that it's a one of like single digits kind of car. So one thing you may have noticed if you know these vehicles, specific to this vehicle, not only is it wearing those black trim package pieces, but it's also wearing a set of black HRE wheels and some Continental contact tires, which do offset this thing a little bit even more and make it even more interesting. Now, full disclosure, Continental makes some great tires. This thing can still destroy a set of tires. I'm not gonna do that, but it can. Anyway, enough gabbing for me. Over to CIA Performance, and we're gonna get this thing on the rollers and talk to Eric, go over a few things and see what this thing will do in bone stock trim, legitimate numbers, and then we're gonna make a little bit of tweaky. Well, we have made it to CIA Performance. Our Holden is ready to put down some numbers. We've got Eric the Wizard back there in the car, plugging things in. You guys know Eric. We will introduce you to Eric in just a moment. I'll give you a little quick tour under the hood, where I promised you this thing is about as stock can be. And at 9,000 original miles, this is about as awesome of a 2015 Chevy SS as you're gonna ever find anywhere. And there's like none of them in this color and a manual. She did really well. We weren't really expecting a lot of gains out of this. These things are, as we said earlier in this video, this car is basically as bone stock and original as you can get, with a little bit of an exhaust upgrade and a cold air intake filter.
Just a filter.
It's literally like, this is 2015 as good as it gets. And we weren't real surprised that we didn't gain a lot.
I think we gained like 4
Yeah.
power, 4 pound-feet of torque.
Not much.
No, but made improvements elsewhere. A little bit of drivability, a little better throttle response.
Right.
Make sure that, because the calibration in this car, if you compare it to the same year 6.2 liter Camaro,
Right.
I counted, without counting entirely, at least 150 differences in the parameters.
And everybody says this is a Camaro, a 4-door Camaro or a 4-door Corvette.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, kind of it is, but there's a lot of configuration-wise that's totally different.
Yes, there were some very interesting differences in some of the main calibrations that I didn't expect to actually see.
Right.
But again, originally, yes, it is a Chevy, but in all fairness, it's a Holden.
Right.
And a lot of the calibrations are done over there. So there definitely were some differences I didn't expect. Again, we didn't expect to pick a lot. I tried everything we could. Just improved drivability, maybe a little better fuel economy. The other cool factor, which I'm sure you'll get after you get back in the car, we played with made it sound a little more like a Tasmanian devil.
Yes, yes. And we were realistically not really looking for increased power. We didn't do any power adder modifications. What we were looking for is a little bit snappier throttle, which you were able to get us some of that. We were looking for a little bit more drivability and make sure everything is happy and healthy, and then also a little bit of attitude adjustment at the rear.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
we accomplished.
Yes.
So
Should have seen Austin, the look on Austin's face when I did it. Finally got it right. He's like cracking up.
that's what we want. We want a little bit of, because this car really is a very understated, and you didn't even really think much about it either before you saw it.
No.
And then it won you over a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. I want
This particular one, yes.
Yeah. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. As always, thank you to Eric and the guys here at CIA Performance. Obviously, if you've seen any of our videos, we don't do tuning. That's not what we do. We're greasy guys. We're not the type on the laptop kind of guys. So, anything we need to get tuned comes over here, and that's what we count on these guys for. So, if you need anything tuning-wise here in Central Ohio, or I guess even beyond that, you guys have got cars in here that are from considerably farther afield than that.
Yes.
So if you're needing somebody who you can count on for a good quality tuning setup, or even just diagnostic troubleshooting, which I'll be seeing you for here very shortly, some more diagnostic troubleshooing. We've got to wrap up the Supra here very shortly, and then you're going to assist us in getting that thing running, and then also the Good Bad Decisions truck, which we're going to bring in here.
Is that the name of it now?
I think.
Okay.
We're still working on that.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to enjoy my drive back in this thing back to the shop before rush hour happens, with the windows down and snappily crackling people.
Be off the gas more than on the gas?
Yeah, I promise there will be some snap crackle popping, just because it's fun.
And by the way, I don't normally condone this, but it was a request.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's part of the tune files. I need a snap crackle pop. So I will snap crackle and pop people. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. As always, please give us a subscribe. I will put a link to CIA Performance in the description below as well, so you can see some of the stuff they do. They've got a lot more dyno video they do because they have a dyno. So if you guys are into that kind of thing, definitely give them a subscribe, give them a watch on some of their stuff. As always, please leave us a comment and click on that like button so that YouTube knows that you like us. And we're always willing to give you guys some feedback and go back and forth a little bit. So,
Also,
anyway,
until next time.
Indeed, I'll see you again in like a week.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks. See you later. Now, I obviously am an old school hot rod kind of guy. I love me some 60s and 70s muscle. But one thing I will say, for the modern stuff, it is really, really nice to be in a vehicle that wraps around me this well, is this comfortable, and is this quiet. I can talk to you in a very calm, unexcited inside voice, and you can still completely hear me. We could easily have a conversation in this car and not have to worry about it. and it makes more than 400 horsepower. It usually wasn't how it used to be. 5-liter Mustang right next to me. He doesn't want to play. Or he has no idea what this car is.